17, 17, 17, 17. World Cup Digest back. Football Pharaoh, Dominic Rich. Like we never left, man. Bro, at least we got one result right. Spot on.
Yeah, with Morocco.
Yep.
Well, you had Switzerland beating Portugal, right?
No, but at least both of us picked Morocco over Spain
Oh,
via penalties.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, man, that was intense.
I know, but bro, could we not talk about Portugal, Switzerland?
I mean, last I heard, Switzerland is getting like therapy at the moment, so I don't want to like give them any PTSD. They might
Let,
be watching the stream.
let's talk about this game first. Let's talk about this one first because
All right.
Portugal completely annihilated Switzerland against almost everyone's prediction. I think everyone except for maybe enthusiastic Portuguese fans got this one right. Because the majority of people predicted that, okay, even if Portugal might have won the game, go on to win the game eventually, that Switzerland were going to be tough and they were going to take the game maybe to extra time to the full distance. But that's not what we seen, man. What we seen there was a blowout. You know, like when you pass on the avenue and they have like a blowout sale, you know, buy one get five free, basically. That's what.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel like for all of us, like you and myself included, that were sweating about how to call this game. It's like when you're at the amusement park and you're afraid to go on that roller coaster, and you find out it's not that scary, and like, yeah,
Exactly. But when you do go on it, you're like, oh shoots, you lied.
yeah,
Look, Portugal. First of all, big talking point. Fernando Santos not putting Cristiano Ronaldo in the team, bro. I could go back and I should have actually clipped out my reaction to the Portuguese 11. I was like, no way they are winning this game. No way. Any chance that they had to win the game, Fernando Santos basically just screwed things up and he gave away the game because he brought back in Otavio. Obviously, he rates Otavio highly. And obviously, I don't. He plays for Porto. I know he's capable, but I don't rate him that well. But he got back straight into the team after recovering from injury. The decision to drop Ronaldo was a big call because let me tell you something. If that had blown up in his face, he would have never been forgiven for that one. Even Ronaldo would have came out and spoke up against that I think. And he dropped João Cancelo, played Rafa Guerreiro as well, left Dallo in the team. And bro, at the end of it, it turned out to be the right moves. And I would like to take the time again to apologize to Fernando Santos for doubting him because the man went into this game with balls as big as coconuts. And it paid off, man. It paid off big time. And you know, they say if you don't have balls, you don't risk, you're not gonna reap the rewards. And they reap the rewards, man. Gonzalo Ramos, a player he put in, scored the first hat trick of the World Cup.
wow. Yeah, and Gonzalo Ramos, he's the youngest player to score a hat trick in the World Cup since Pele in 1958.
Wow, and Gonzalo Ramos is a Brazilian-born player.
Oh my!
And so is Pepe.
Yep.
And so is Otavio.
The Brazilians, man, their impact is everywhere.
So I guess this is Jogo Bonito as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, it really is. They blew Switzerland to smithereens here, and it was a bold call to leave Ronaldo on the bench. But when we saw when he came on, like around the 70th minute, we saw the reason why. I mean, you saw that breakaway he had where he slotted that past Jan Salmar, but it was offsides.
Yeah,
he was so slow, man. It was painful to watch, and I think that this being the call that he made, It paid off, and it shows Portugal's depth. And now those who say the team is better off without Ronaldo on the pitch, they have a much stronger argument now.
Because they have an argument that they could say that Portugal's only ever major trophy was won without Ronaldo. Forget about the Nations League. Their first major trophy was won with Ronaldo not on the field. Yep. And another thing, Portugal, they sent a statement here, maybe to Brazil, that, okay, if you barely beat Switzerland 1-0, look at what we're going to do to the same Swiss team. Yep. A 6-piece, bro.
6, yeah.
6-piece, bro. I can't eat a 6-piece. That's way too much for me. I could only eat a 3-piece, man. Give me a 3-piece. Give me 2 drums. Give me a wing, and I'm good.
Well,
Switzerland bit off more than they could chew here.
Yeah, and in this case, Portugal shoved a funnel in their mouth and forced them to eat all of it.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. Look, Murat Yakin, I think he got it wrong where he changed up his tactics. Why?
100%.
I don't know. He was intimidated. He went in with a lot of fear, it seems. Okay, let's do something different than what we were doing all along, and let's take this approach. That's what they did, and I don't get it.
Yeah. It was funny because it was sort of the opposite of how Korea approached Brazil yesterday. Korea didn't show Brazil too much respect. Switzerland did so here. They did so here. And I mean, they didn't play their own game against them. And we've seen what Switzerland's capable of doing against other sides. They played Brazil close. They actually played Portugal close. They're in the same Nations League group. Yeah, he got it wrong on the day. And I love how the camera was always panning to the sidelines to see his face. He was
distraught, man.
Yeah.
He was distraught. He knew he had effed up. But look, Pepe became the oldest player to score in a knockout stage match as well. Give it up to him with that thumping header. But look, the Gonzalo Ramos goals, man, clinical. The first one, oh my God. Listen. Oh, man. That was good. Fastest gun. Listen, you could call the man Dirty Harry because his celebration and everything and just the way he scored. Okay, let's call this hat trick the good, the bad, and the ugly because that was a nasty performance. That was some clinical stuff. And now Gonzalo Ramos is ensured a start in place in the next game.
I don't see how he doesn't against. I love Morocco, but against a winnable game opponent in Morocco, he has to. I would be surprised. I'm glad you mentioned because I'd be surprised if Santos doesn't put the same exact starting 11 in the next game. Maybe
I think
he's. What's up?
Go. So what you have to say? Let me see.
Maybe you can make a case. You put Rafael Leao somewhere.
Yes, same thing I was going to say. Leao in, Felix out.
Yeah,
and that would be an unbeatable. Very unbeatable team, if you ask me. And look, I criticize the 11, but it seems like, sometimes you want to figure something out, right? And you just can't figure it out. You follow you're like, man, I can't figure this out, man. And a lot of times, recipes and the best foods and pots, the best soups are probably made by experimenting.
Yeah.
And I think Santos just, man, you know what, man? Forget Ronaldo Gonzalo Ramos, you playing, get out my face. Neves, get out my face. William, Otavio, Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, Felix, Cancelo, you've been making a lot of mistakes. Rafa Guerrero come in. Okay, he scored a goal. Dalo, you've been playing really well. Pepe and Ruben Diaz, Diego Costa. Let's go. Let's win this game. Them guys went out there and they were magnificent. They proved me wrong because I never thought they would have done it. Seriously, I thought the Swiss team would have played the underdog role and sucker punched Portugal. You see what I mean? I'm thinking they're gonna do a what's that like Kenan Ryu does the uppercut, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do they say when they do that uppercut, man? Man, I can't remember, but you get the point. I haven't played Street Fighter in a while. I do have Street Fighter on my PS4. I gotta boot it up and play some Street Fighter, man. But Hadouken, you know.
When you remember the term for it, mention it in the next stream.
Huh?
When you remember the term for it, mention it in the next stream.
Yeah, but I can't remember. You know, every time they do a move, they say something. But let's just say this was a Hadouken 6 times back to back. You know what I mean? Fight over. The Swiss bow out in a whimper, I have to say. Manuel Akanji did pull one back. Rafael Leao scored a brilliant goal at the end there.
Yep.
And
from distance.
It was brilliant, man. It was brilliant. This Portuguese team, they look good despite the loss against Korea there. They look good here, and they would want to follow up this performance against Morocco. Forget about Switzerland. They're gone. Don't want to talk about them no more. Very disappointing. Let's see if they make the 2026 World Cup.
3 consecutive round of 16 exits for Switzerland. I'm with you. I thought they would put in a much better performance here. But even when Manuel Akanji, when he scored off that corner, like there was no even like urgency from them after that because I think they knew it was still over by that point. It wasn't
I think they tried. I think they thought that if they get a second goal and a third, something could have happened. But come on, bro. Who gives up a 4-0 lead?
Yeah.
I think there's only one ever team that did that. I think it was Newcastle versus, I can't remember. Who was that? Newcastle versus some team, the 4-4. I can't remember right off the top. But let me see something. Newcastle, I think, was it Arsenal? Newcastle 4-4. Yep, it was Arsenal.
Wow.
I think Arsenal had gone like 4 goals up or something. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what it was. They had gone 4 goals up and Newcastle came back. Let me double check this. Let me see. Yeah, this was a 10-11 season, right? Had this craziness. Arsenal scored to Theo Walcott, Giroud, who is a Swiss man, Giroud, who's from, you remember Johan Giroud?
Yep.
He's a Swiss man. Robin Van Persie scored a brace. And I think they ended up getting a red card. Abu Dhabi got a red card. So with them scoring the 4 goals, Newcastle came back in the second half. Joey Barton scored 2 penalties. Leon Best and Czech Tiote, God rest his soul, scored one of the best goals you would ever see. And I think Switzerland thought that they could have pulled it off because I swear, bro, that's how they conceded that Gonzalo Ramos hat trick. Because they were far up the field, the goal kick come down, caught them out. Gonzalo Ramos running behind and chipped the keeper.
Yep.
And that was what, the 5th goal? So they thought that they could have actually come back into the game, you know what I'm saying? But it was too late. Before we move, right? Mm-hmm. Portugal, they play Morocco. But we know they're the favorites. We're going to talk Morocco, right? They're the favorites. But Morocco and Portugal, they have I think 1 apiece in terms of their record. They've met twice before. Morocco's first victory at a World Cup came against Portugal, 1986.
Wow.
You know, so, and then Portugal got their revenge in 2018 with a 1-0 win. So give it up to Morocco. They have history. So if the pattern continues, it's Morocco's turn. I would love for Morocco to do it, but I have to say it will take another big effort from Morocco, and I don't know if they have that in them, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. Well, what I was just saying before we close for this game is Switzerland were just totally found out because whenever Portugal went on in the transition, they had no answer. They were just completely blown open and blown apart. Also got to give a shout out because we praised the forwards in this game. Diogo Dalot had a great performance too. Yeah. I believe he assisted one of Gonzalo Ramos's goals, and he had a few good saves, sliding tackle saves.
He's been good. That's why he's playing ahead of João Cancelo, who's a bit prone to a mistake or 2 these days, bro. When I went to watch Man City versus Liverpool at Anfield, if João Cancelo didn't make that mistake for that Salah goal, he would have earned a draw. Oh. He got spun.
Yeah.
Like cotton candy. He got spun, bro. You see what I mean? And he made a mistake in the World Cup already so far, I think. And he deserves to get dropped, bro. I'm telling you. I'm not going to lie.
Do you think, now, before we move on, do you think, because I was thinking about this, let's say Santos does not field CR7 again for the Morocco game, which he has no reason to. Let's say he doesn't even come on as a sub. If they go further, they go to the semis and the final, you have to think they're coming up against England, France, possibly Brazil. Do you think that Ronaldo sees the pitch at all?
He can't start. He does. Look, let me say this. If Ronaldo played that game today, Portugal were losing that game.
Woo.
Because he would have sucked everything in. Everything would have been around him.
Yeah.
And he would have screwed things up so badly, I'm telling you. He would not allow the other players to do their thing.
Yeah.
And Portugal would have been in a whole lot of trouble. That's why this game was going to go to extra time. We based our predictions on Ronaldo playing.
Yep.
Let me say that. Fernando Santos pulled a fast one on every single one of us, and he's the one laughing right now.
And they can win this tournament.
He's dreaming about ponies and butterflies and unicorns and streams of chocolate and stuff right now. He's having a nice sleep.
He's really wants it.
Exactly. But we're going to move. We'll talk some more about Portugal, Morocco, the other quarterfinals as well. But we have to talk about this massive, massive upset at a World Cup. Spain bowing out in the round of 16 again, on penalties again. And let's give it up to the Atlas Lions of Morocco. Northern Africa, the Arab world, stand up. Morocco, they have made you proud. And even though I didn't predict them to get out the group, I'm happy for them. I predicted them to destroy Spain in penalties, 8-7. They did it, 3-0. Bonu. Spain not scoring a single penalty. Not a single one. And Walid Regragui has not conceded a goal from an opposition player since he took charge of the team. Nuts.
Wow. That's true.
Absolutely nuts, bro. This team, they have only changed one player in their starting lineup for 4 games so far. Semi Amala and Abdul Hamid Sabiri. That's the only change they've made.
You're right.
But because of the injuries for Saiz picked up an injury, Naif Aguerd picked up an injury. This could be the undoing of this Moroccan team unless a youngster by the name of El Yamik stepped up and whoever else they bring in, because those two guys, man, Aguerd and Saiz, oh man, listen, man, they were massive at the back, man. They were massive.
They're huge. And Regragui, he has about 4 days to come up with a solution if they're going to be missing for that Portugal match. But before we get there, this was a heart of stone performance from Morocco. And look, both Spain and Morocco, they had chances. This game could have been won in 90. It could have been won in 120 minutes. But click on the stats there, because I want everyone that watches this video to look at this absolute abomination. No, scroll more.
Yeah, right there.
Look at the passes. Forget the possession. That's low even for 77% is low even for Spain. Look at the number of passes. These guys had over 1,000 passes, 1 shot on target, for 2 hours of football.
Exactly, bro. They did the same thing against Japan. 1,000 passes, still lost the game.
This, I have to say, the U.S. military needs to hire the Moroccan national team, because that's how you win the war on terror. Like, look at my username. Terrorist football is out.
Oh, let's go. Bro, this is also what I like to call a failed sniper attack. Basically,
it's nothing. It has no final product. It is, like, jokes aside, it is genuinely offensive.
And the thing too, this is why I can't with Spain. They have absolutely no plan B. Their plan is to just tiki-taka. That's it. Pass the ball into the goal. They're not even trying to get. You saw when Nico Williams came on and he was running at the defense and crossing those balls and how dangerous they looked.
Yeah.
They didn't try nothing. While I was watching the game, right? The fact that I predicted Morocco to win. When Spain had the ball just outside the box, I was saying, please don't shoot. Please don't shoot. And they didn't. These guys are not even taking a shot from distance out of anger. None. These guys don't even, it's like the manager say, pass the ball into the back of the net. That's what they do. They don't try nothing different. Once you nullify Busquets or, you know, you cut out the passes into the box from down the wings, you win the game. You know, and give it up to Saiss Aguerd. Big up to Azedine Onahi, Sofiane Amrabat. These guys are massive in the midfield, man. Semia Mala. These guys were good. Especially Sofiane Amrabat, bro. I'm telling you, he's a warrior.
I think it's quite telling that it's almost something of a meme at this point. It's quite telling that Spain couldn't even score a single penalty.
Exactly.
They couldn't even score a penalty.
Since the game against Costa Rica, Spain's only managed 2 goals. One against Germany, and they scraped one against Japan, a game that they lost, and couldn't score against Morocco.
And the issue, I think, also with a lot of like the long lobs they were making into the box and the crosses is that, yeah, a lot of them were dangerous, but there was nobody on the receiving end to get there.
Because then you choose not to play a striker in Morata who scores a goal every 45 minutes or so. He scored 3 at the World Cups, and you have absolutely no reason to bench the man, and you're benching him. Why you play Marcos Llorente at right back when you have 2 right backs in reserve? I don't get it.
No.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't get the experimentation at this stage of the tournament. I don't get it. But I have to give Morocco the credit, man. Hakim Ziyech, Sofiane Boufal, they were very, very dangerous. Yusuf Enazairi, he wasn't too, you know, he didn't get a lot of opportunity. But Chedira, who came on, he had his chance, you know. He couldn't score. Morocco, Aguerd had a header. He couldn't score. Morocco had their chances.
They did.
Mazrui had a shot straight to Unai Simon, who did look shaky at times whenever you test him out. You know what I'm saying? But overall, Spain, they had the bulk of the possession. They had the bulk of the chances. They just couldn't break down Morocco. Bono had some nervy moments, but apart from that, he was pretty decisive. You know, one shot on target just tells you that there wasn't many instances in the game where Morocco had a nervous time defending. Not many. A few, but not many. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they were scrapping it and it was like, oh my God. But there were times when, of course, Spain almost scored. I'm not going to pretend that there wasn't. But to get the game all the way to penalties is what the plan was. Even you and I predicted that it'll get to penalties.
Yep.
You see what I mean? We analyzed this game correctly down to the T. Morocco, I was surprised when they actually chose to take their penalties first.
I saw that in your reaction to the video.
Because they usually take the winners have been the second penalty takers. But they said, hey, man, you ain't got no balls. You ain't going to get the glory, you know. And they said, we're going to go first. We're going to break this jinx right now. And they scored 2 of their penalties. One of them was missed, right? Yeah, but Benoun penalty got saved.
It was Benoun, yeah.
But the fact that Soler, Sarabia, Busquets, they all did not score their penalty. And just to put the icing on that cake, a man born in Spain, Madrid, Ashraf Hakimi, whose mother was at the stadium, the pressure he felt, stepped up, and he could have did anything else.
Right down the
scored a Panenka.
Yep.
And you know why he scored the Panenka? He scored it for his buddy, Sergio Ramos at PSG, who takes a lot of Panenka penalties when he steps up. He scores a lot of penalties, and Spain chose not to take a now fit again Sergio Ramos, who I think would have made a massive difference in this team. When you think about the the maturity and the leadership.
Of course.
You could have, look, Enrique wanted to do things his own way. But if Sergio Ramos is fit and he's playing at the high level, say, come on, he gotta be in the team. And you know what would be a smack in the face if Enrique gets sacked and another manager comes in and they pick Sergio Ramos, like for the Euros.
I mean, look, with Luis Enrique, this is the same guy who brought Eric Garcia to the last European Championship, remember?
Bro, exactly. I'm surprised he didn't play him. I'm surprised. But the thing is, even though Rodri was one of his best players at the World Cup, why you have Rodri play center back? Rodri is not a center back. I hate when Rodri plays center back for City. I hate it. You see what I mean? He should never be back there. But that's the naivety that they thought that, okay, they'll have the ball most of the time and they won't need a proper center back. They won't need a proper right back, which is true. Sometimes they didn't need it. But at the same time, look, it came down to penalties. You didn't win the game in 90. Your forwards didn't do it for you. Your youngsters didn't do it for you. And you're now heading home on the plane, losing to Morocco. I think Spain would not have mind. Okay, you lose, you're mad. But to lose to freaking Morocco,
yeah,
your neighbors across the another continent, you see what I mean?
And this is a result that Moroccan fans, I know a few Moroccan people, they will never let Spain live this down.
Bro,
ever.
This is a massive. I will go as far as to say, this is fact. This is the biggest victory in the history of Moroccan football. Forget about AFCON and World Cup qualifiers. That right there has to go down as the biggest moment in Moroccan football, the furthest they've reached on the grand stage, the World Cup. And to beat Spain to get there, it would feel even sweeter. To beat Belgium as well to get there, it is sweet. Morocco are unbeaten. They face Portugal. Another arduous task lie ahead. Could they get the job done?
I don't rule that out as a possibility. Part of me wishes that they had beaten Spain. That this match did not go to penalties, because the poor man's analyst will look at this result and say, oh, they sat back, they needed penalties to scrape through. But
screw that, bro. Screw that. Penalty is part of the knockout game. It's part of the knockout. Right? When you talk knockout football, that's part of the game. It is chess.
And Spain's lucky that Morocco didn't convert any of their chances as well.
Exactly.
So you couldn't write this script better from like a Moroccan fantasy.
Man.
And they're in with a shout. I mean, they have a chance now to take out all of Iberia from this World Cup.
France too.
And oh my God, can you imagine that? Yeah, to be the world's first ever African semifinalist. They're now the first ever Arab team, the first ever North African team. Walid Regragui is the first ever African manager to take a team to the World Cup quarterfinal. He's the first ever.
Give it up to him, man.
They haven't conceded a goal yet. I don't count that one against Canada, the own goal.
Yeah.
Bad luck happens. They haven't been giving up nothing. They not giving an inch to anybody in all their games. And they're not playing anti-football. No, they're very proactive. They're quite easy.
Some people would say that they're negative, but I don't believe that, bro. No. I think you adapt to the opponent, because when they played Belgium, when they played Canada, when they played Croatia, they weren't negative. You see what I mean? But if you come up against Spain, a former World Cup winner, man, listen, you got to do what you got to do to get that result. You see what I mean? And they got that result. And I'm happy for the team. Big up to all the Moroccan players, Bonu, Hakim Ziyech, especially Ashraf Hakimi, man. Because, I don't think he celebrated too much against Spain. He was born there. But I like that penguin celebration, that they be doing over there in PSG too. And that was for Sergio Ramos, you know that, right?
Yeah. That man, to try a Panenka in a World Cup knockout stage match takes nerves of steel. I don't care if you're already up 2-0 and you only have to score one of your next three. Yeah. That's still a risk, man.
But again, too, Spain made it easier by not converting their penalties, just like Japan.
Yeah. At least Japan scored one of them.
I know, man. I know. But, bro, we could go on and on and on and on, but we got to land the plane. And with that being said, congrats to Morocco, congrats to Portugal. They would meet in the quarterfinal. And with that being said, bro, we got a massive quarterfinal here coming up on Saturday. Well, on Friday. God damn, see already. Friday, Croatia, Brazil. I'm actually working on that preview as we speak.
Nice.
I've already put out the one for the Netherlands, Argentina, Morocco, Portugal, and we have England, France. So massive quarterfinals coming up. Only 8 teams left. Only 8 matches left as well. Bro, we got to talk these quarterfinals briefly. Have you made up your mind who you got coming through these two?
Those two on the screen right there. I've made up my mind on one of them. I'll tell you where I'm leaning towards now. My prediction could change in the next 3 days. I have to think about it and let it soak in.
All right. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. We're gonna touch it. We're gonna touch it when we link up on Thursday. We're gonna touch that. Then your mind will be made up.
Sure.
All right. Leave that alone. Leave that alone. You know what I'm saying? What we have planned, bro. Remember we spoke 2026 World Cup for episode 18?
Yep.
And predictions for 2026 World Cup as well. I've already written down my European picks, bro. It was hard. I'm telling you, it was so hard. I don't want to piss anybody off, but these are gonna be early predictions. And when it comes to Africa and these other ones, it's gonna be hard. You started already?
I did. Yep.
Okay, very good. Very good. That's all. I just wanted to check to see if you did your homework. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, we have episode 18 and 19 coming up, and that will be focusing on the 2026 World Cup. I'm definitely looking forward to those. Don't forget to go check them out. Go check out all the other episodes, all the way from 1. Go do it, man. You'll enjoy it. And the crazy thing is, this is what I said to you at the beginning of this series. When I had an epiphany, I was like, bro, we are documenting the entire World Cup. You and I, 2 big enthusiasts of the World Cup. We're documenting it literally. We're not going to miss anything, hardly anything. So, people from 100 years from now, if they want to do some, history research on the World Cup, they could refer to these videos. But it's been fun, and I'm looking forward to the episode tomorrow and Thursday as well, more than ever. Because I like talking about stuff coming up in the future, though. I love it. Definitely love it. But, guys, look for big things from Football Fair and I with this series. We're trying to get this series maybe to 1,000.
Oh, man. That would be an insane
Bro,
stuff.
Imagine we're doing this episode 400. World Cup 2026. You see what I'm saying? But take it away, man. Take it away. Land the plane for us today.
Thanks for having me on again, Dom, for episode 17. You can find me on Twitter, Football Pharaoh, @SoccerPharaoh. That's @soccer_Pharaoh. Link in the description box below to my YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Show this to a friend or family member if you think they would enjoy this content from both me and Dom. And yeah, man. I think this is just the beginning of something very beautiful, if you ask me. And he's getting up to stretch. He's going to have to do a lot more stretching if he's going to have more episodes to come. I tell you that. All right.
You saw my pigeon celebration?
Your pigeon celebration?
No, not my pigeon, my penguin. What am I saying? Pigeon. I'm thinking the pigeon dance, you know what I'm saying, that Tita was doing yesterday. But yeah, that penguin celebration is wicked, man.
Careful, they'll think you're auditioning to be the next Salasal manager.
Anyways, man, it was fun, guys. We'll talk soon. Peace. And cheers, man. Cheers.
Morocco, proud of you, Yarab.